Okay, how about a little Q&A play today? I actually get this question a lot from a lot of my clients because I am a silversmith and I am a jewelry caster and manufacturer. One of my clients asked me just the other day, actually. She says, hey, I got this new design that I've made in wax. How much would it be to get this made in silver, and how much would it be to get this in gold? Well, I know when you got into the jewelry business as a creative, you didn't think you were going to have to do math. Well, that's simply not the case. There's actually quite a bit of math involved, and chemistry, and some physics. So to answer this question, a lot of the times as a jewelry manufacturer, to give an estimate, I actually don't do estimates per se. I do guesstimates, not estimates. It's my best guess. The main reason is, of course, because the stock market, the price of silver and the price of gold changes on a daily basis. And I usually bill based on the day I ship it, and not necessarily, which could be 3 weeks from the day I actually get the order. So yeah, 3 weeks, a lot could happen. In fact, well, obviously to now, with this whole global pandemic, the silver and gold prices have been like all over the place. Silver was at like $17.50 for like ever. In April, which is when everybody had to stay at home, it dropped from $17.50 down to $11 an ounce. I actually bought a whole bunch because my metal supplier called me and said, hey, did you know what the price of silver is today? He says, man, it's dropped, it's down to 11. I actually bought it the next day, and it actually went up. It was at $12.30 when I bought it. And then it went right back up to $17.50 within a couple weeks, and which was normal. And then it went skyrocketed. The highest I've seen it, it went up to 28. Like a few days ago, it was at $28 per ounce. So the market has been changing all the time. And of course, gold is even more dramatic. It was at $17.50 for the longest time. And now I've seen it at 1940s, 1960 per ounce now. So obviously, all I can do is a guesstimate. So anyways, there's a few numbers. So now we're going to do the calculation. Okay. So let's do a little math today. So even if you're not in the jewelry business and you want to estimate, hey, maybe you've got some silver and some gold jewelry that's broken, or you're thinking of, hey, I need some quick cash. How much is my silver worth and how much is my gold worth? This is going to be the same. How to do the calculations is going to be the same. I wouldn't take it to a pawn shop because a pawn shop is only going to give you about 25%. You're better off actually taking it to a jeweler who will actually use it to make jewelry, and they'll probably give you a better price. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is we need some given numbers. So because I actually have, this is actually my piece. So I have this shark piece. Let's weigh this so we actually have some numbers. And the reason I'm going to use the shark is because I have a wax, I have it in silver, and I have it in gold, and we can get some given numbers of how much they actually weigh, and then we can compare our math and see how close we worked. So let's weigh this on my scale. In wax, this this wax weighs 0.4 grams, so 0.4 grams. If I take the silver piece, let's weigh that. The silver weighs 3.9 grams. So up here, I'm going to put, where am I going to, right here, 3.9 grams. Let's weigh that in gold. In gold, it weighs 5.1 grams. So that's how much we know it weighs. Okay, so do some math. We're going to need some given numbers. I'm going to use the numbers from my Stoller catalog here, just because they have it in a nice format. I actually don't use Stoller, but I'm going to use their numbers. What I need from their book, I'm going to go to their metals, and I'm going to look at their silver alloy. I'm going to try to look for their specific gravity, and every alloy is going to be different. Silver, if I look at the Stoller, there's silver, there's sterling silver, specific gravity. Okay, what is specific gravity? Well, you remember the chemistry class you took back in high school? A little bit? I know we're going pretty far back and we're going to do some math, but it's not going to hurt your brain that much. Mostly because I'm going to give you the answers. Okay. Specific gravity, what is it? Okay, in chemistry, remember your chemistry and I actually did this in my physics class in college. The specific gravity of wax. If I drop this in the water, as you can see, the wax is floating. It doesn't even sink. Well, that was a pretty light piece. Let's try a bigger piece, something like this. It's pretty heavy. Well, let's drop it in. Well, it's floating. It floats. Well, what about a bigger piece of wax? Well, it floats. And even though these weigh differently on the scale, in water, they all float. Specific gravity is basically a calculation of its volume per weight as it pertains in water. Now, if I was wax, no matter how much it weighs, is going to float. The specific gravity of wax is 1 because it floats. Obviously, if I took some silver grain and I threw it in the water, the silver grain is going to sink. And then we can take a measurement of the weight per volume, and if I was to do the calculation, but Stoller has done it for me, the specific gravity of sterling silver is 10.36. That's a given number from your alloy manufacturer. And if I was going to take some 14 karat gold and drop it in the water, it's going to sink, but it will have a different specific gravity. Gold is typically heavier, and so volume per weight as it is in the water. By the Stoller, they've already done the calculation. 14 karat yellow, the specific gravity is 13.08. And just some other numbers that we can throw out there. 18 karat yellow is 15.6. 14 karat white is 12.65. So obviously the 18 karat at 15.6 is the heaviest, with 14 karat yellow at 13.08. My manufacturer is actually around 13.2. So there's a little bit different numbers. Okay, now we have the specific gravity. All right, so now that's the given. We need that number in order to do our math. So now the question from my client is, hey, I've got a piece of silver jewelry that I've just designed. How much will it cost in silver? Let's do that in silver. The first thing we're going to need to do is, in order to price it, I'm kind of dealing with the stock market on a daily basis. So we need to calculate, all right, let's go and figure out how much. Let's go on Google, and I'm going to go to hooverandstrong.com, or you can go to riogrande.com and look at the stock market price for today. Today's price, I wrote it up here. The silver price for today, 26.69 per ounce, troy ounce actually. It's not regular ounces, that's different. It's a troy ounce is how they do it. And the price of gold today is at $1,944.75 per troy ounce. So that's the stock market price. But these are in ounces. And I usually, in the jewelry business, none of my jewelry even weighs an ounce. It's a fraction of an ounce. Most everybody in the jewelry business weighs per gram. So, because I deal with grams, I need to do a little conversion thing. And we're going to convert that. So, now that we have, we also need to know right here, we need to convert to grams. So 1 ounce, 1 troy ounce equals 31.1 grams. That's a given. Also, we need to count, so if we're going to do silver, so today, silver is at 26.69. We're going to divide that by 31.1, and that's going to give us our grams, and that, which is 0.86 grams. So that's how much silver is going to be by the gram, 0.86, which is really high because it was at 55 cents a gram forever. So it's really high right now. Now that we know how much the silver is per gram, we can calculate this for our wax design that we need to know. If we take our wax weight, which is 0.4, times the specific gravity, so 10.36 for silver, it's going to give us an estimate of 4.1 grams. So that's going to be the estimate. If I was to take the wax and I wanted it in silver, all I got to do is times it by the specific gravity of 10.36, and that's going to give me the estimate of how much it's going to be in silver. So it's going to be 4.1 grams in silver, but how much is that in dollars? So all we need to do is take the 4.1 grams times the 86 cents per gram is going to be $3.53 in silver. So this particular silver shark is going to cost roughly $3.53 in silver. That doesn't include the labor. But in silver, now I have an estimate of how much this is really worth in silver. $3.53 worth of silver in the piece, which is pretty good, you know. Okay, now let's figure out how much it's going to be worth in gold, because there's going to be a major difference here. Gold could vary dependently. Even if I'm off by 1 gram, it could cost me a fortune. But this is just going to be a guesstimate. Okay, gold is at $1,944.75 today per ounce. So we're going to divide that by 31.1 to convert it to the grams. So that's $62.53 per gram. But wait a second, the gold is sold in 24 ounce pure gold, and I'm not doing it in 24 ounce pure gold. I'm doing it in 14 karat. So we're going to have to do a little bit more brain work. We're going to have to do some calculations and convert the gold to 14 karat, and then we're going to have to convert it to 18 karat, just as a difference. So gold is sold, pure gold is 24 carats. So if we want it in 14 carats, so we go 14 divided by 24 is going to give us 0.5833. In other words, 14 karat gold is 58% gold. The rest is copper alloy. So if I want to know what it is in 18 karat, 18 divided by 24 is going to give us 0.75. In other words, 75% of it is gold. Okay. So now we have the percentages. So now we can take what we calculated here, $62.53 for 24 karat gold, and we're going to times that by 0.5833, and that's going to give us $36.47 per 14 karat gold. So gold today is $36.47 for 14 karat gold. But if I want to know that, hey, let's just see what's the difference for 18 karat. So if we take our 62.53 and we times that by 0.75 or 75%, we're going to get $46.89. So pretty big difference between the 14 karat and 18 karat. You know, we could be off quite a bit. All right. So now that we know how much our gold is per 14 karat yellow gold, let's figure out how much it's going to cost if we know that our wax is 0.4 grams. How much is that going to cost us in 14 karat yellow? All right, we need to know our specific gravity for 14 karat yellow, which is up here at 13.08. So we're going to start with our wax weight is 0.4. 0.4 times our specific gravity, 13.08, equals 5.2 grams in gold. So now we know that our gold shark is going to be approximately 5.2 grams in gold. Well, how much is that in today's market? In money, if we take our 5.2 grams, times it by 36.47, today's dollar amount is going to be $189.64. So this gold shark is worth has $189.64 in gold in it. That's how much this shark is worth compared to silver at $3.53. Pretty big difference. Okay, so the actual question that I got the other day was, hey, I have this silver pendant, and I know how much it weighs, but I got a special order. They want it in gold, but I know the silver weight. How much will it be in gold today? So, what I like to do is, because I usually go from the wax, I'll go a little bit backwards. So, we know that the silver shark weighs 3.9 grams. So I want to get it back to my wax weight. So I'll just divide it by the specific gravity, 10.36, which gives me 0.38. So means that originally the wax would have been right around 0.38. Then I go the same process that I did, 0.38 times specific gravity of gold, which is 0.38 times 13.08 equals 4.9 grams in gold. So I kind of went back and then went forward. So in gold today, 4.9 grams, again, times our gold weight for 14 karat is 36.49, is roughly $178.70 for the gold. So you can see, even though these two numbers are pretty far off, they're like, so we've done it a couple different ways, and the numbers aren't always the same. Like last time it was 189, now it's 178. So you can see it's kind of like up and down, because obviously this silver piece has been grinded and polished, which changes the numbers quite a bit. I've taken some metal off of it, so it doesn't weigh as much as my original numbers. So as a bonus, here's a fun little thing. Actually, one of my friends emailed me like a couple weeks ago, and he wanted to know, hey, if I invest in gold, is this a good time to invest in some gold? What do you think? Is the stocks going to go up? Is it going to go down? And everything else. Well, actually, he wanted to invest in silver, and I'm like, well, silver really, silver really doesn't go up or down all that much. It's been at like 1730 forever and ever. And so I advised him to, invest in gold, because gold could vary $30, $40 every day. You just never know. But I did some fun calculations just to see, hey, what would have happened in reality, now that it's been a couple weeks, had he invested in silver compared to the gold. So here's just a fun calculation that I did. If you're playing the stock markets, how much can you really make over the last 2 weeks? Okay, gold. I think 2 weeks ago is basically right around 1750. Today it's at 1944. So within 2 weeks, it's actually gone up $194.75, roughly, over 2 weeks. So had you have bought 1 ounce of gold 2 weeks ago, you would have made $194.75. But what if you took that $1,944 that you paid for that 1 ounce of gold, and that basically would calculate to, you could have bought 72 ounces of silver for that same price. Silver was right around 1730, and today it's at 2669. So that means it's actually gone up. I never expected it to go up this high. In fact, it's never been at 26. The highest it's ever been was 25 years, like 10 years ago it went up to 25. And then it went right back down, which is probably what's happening even right now. So anyways, it went from 1730 2 weeks ago to 2669, which is basically $9.39. In like 2 weeks, it's gone up $9. So had he bought 72 ounces worth of silver, he actually would have made $684 compared to $194 had he invested in gold. So, oops. That was some bad advice on my part. But honestly, you just never know. You just never know. I mean, silver very rarely goes up and down that much. It usually stays the same and really only changes by pennies, where gold is all over the place. But oops, sorry buddy, that was some bad advice.